When it comes to Kevin Durant and his legacy, in my personal opinion, this is very important for his career. I think you can't have a situation where he gets bounced in the first round or second round. Because you look at ever since he left the Warriors, the argument has been, well, you won with Steph Curry. You won with a functional organization. And outside of that, you haven't been back to a conference finals. Fair or unfair, those are the facts. And this would be his fifth team. Houston has a combination of vets and young guys. And I am very high on the Rockets. I'm going to be paying attention to them. Defensively, they're going to be a nightmare. Amen Thompson's ceiling is something to watch and monitor because he could be one of the best players we see in the NBA if his offense catches up to his defense. Defensively, he's fantastic. You've got Tari Eason. You've got DFS. You have Steven Adams, Clint Capella. Reed Shepard could get a role. Sangoon is still on this team. And Van Fleet. So this team is stacked. And if the Rockets can't even make a conference finals, we're going to look at Kevin Durant and go, you had all this talent since you left Golden State and you couldn't even get back to a conference finals. Look, he's a top 15 player to me, but I can't put him in that top 10 conversation. He needs a playoff run where he gets to at least the conference finals, in my opinion. If he can't even get there with the Rockets, man, I love Kevin Durant, but I can't defend the last, 6 years now, ever since he left the Warriors. You have to wonder, maybe you should have stayed in Golden State. I understand the backlash you got when you first signed there, but you win championships, you call it a day. And you don't care what people think about you. But that didn't happen. So for Kevin Durant, it's important for him to fit with this roster, don't have any more drama. And I'm not saying that he's at fault for everything with the Phoenix Suns situation, because he's not. The Suns did a terrible job building a roster after they first acquired him. Bradley Beal was a mistake. But with all that being said, you still got swept by the Timberwolves. You still didn't make the playoffs. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but those things are true. So for Kevin Durant, he needs a redemption arc where he comes in and helps this Rockets team make a deep playoff run. Look, I understand the West is going to be tough. The Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Thunder are going to have something to say. And if Dallas is healthy enough, they're going to be a factor. Maybe even the Lakers if they can add another piece. All that being said, though, Kevin Durant needs to be the leader of the Rockets. He needs to help this team take that next step. And there's no excuses. They've got the roster to make a deep playoff run. They've got the personnel to lock you up. And you've got a guy in Ime Udoka. And I'm very curious to see how he coaches KD. Because Ime Udoka, he don't mess around. He's going to call you out. He's going to make you feel like you play like trash sometimes. And it's good for Ime to hold Kevin Durant to a higher standard because you've been in the league for so long. I need the best version of Kevin Durant. And Ime is going to require that from him. And that will be good for Kevin Durant. He's a guy who can push him. He's let him know, like, look, your legacy is on the line. And I understand you're going to be in the Hall of Fame, but how you're going to be remembered is going to matter. Because if the Rockets aren't that good or they struggle and they never reach those expectations, we're going to look at Kevin Durant and go, bro, you had all this talent and you're struggling again in Houston. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to come down to the playoffs, in my opinion. I think the Rockets will make a deep playoff runs. They should. They've got the roster for it. And KD needs to be one leading the charge. I think they'll have their struggles offensively because we don't know how good a man's going to be on that side. And Van Fleet's reliable. Sengun will be reliable. But they're going to rely heavily on Kevin Durant to help them carry this roster offensively. Defensively, Houston will be a nightmare. DFS is so good on the floor as a wing defender. You have Eason, you've got Thompson, you've got a lot of options out there who can guard different players, and the rebounding from Adams to Capella to Sengun is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And they had, I forget the net rating, but Sengun and Adams together were just dominant on the glass. You saw it against the Warriors. Like Golden State had a hard time containing the glass because those two guys were getting possession after possession. The problem is Houston couldn't score enough. So now you have a guy in Durant who's supposed to fill that role. One of the best scorers ever, can get you a bucket at any time. I know that Kevin Durant's had these weird injuries, these little kinks throughout the season. I'm just hoping he's healthy enough and he comes in and we are reminded of how good KD is because he's fantastic. There's no doubt about it. Like Kevin Durant as an all-time player is top 15 to me. I can't put him in top 10 just because of what's happened in these playoffs. I mean, the legacy's got to matter. Like, you can't just ignore that stuff. But at the same time, he's still Kevin Durant. Players that average 25 plus points on 40% 3-point shooting over the last 2 seasons: Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. He's still really good at basketball. So I just want to see him ride off into the sunset on a positive note, because if we see the same narrative where Houston can't make deep playoff runs, or drama in the locker room, and nothing good comes out of this, man, the career of Kevin Durant will be remembered as a guy who is a Hall of Famer, but when you left Golden State, it just wasn't the same. Fair or unfair, that will be part of his legacy. I know Kevin Durant on Twitter. He's a funny guy. I love how he trolls people. I'm still going to be a Kevin Durant supporter. Easy money sniper. I've always loved watching him play basketball. But when you compare him to other players, legacy-wise, you just got to be objective. That's the end of the day. Like, I have my favorite guys. If you are having moments in the playoffs where you aren't either showing up or not making those runs because of circumstances or whatever it may be, it's like, okay, we got to at least be objective here. And I know there's people out there who don't like Kevin Durant because of what he did with the Golden State Warriors. People still hold that against him. And you could say that's messed up, but at the end of the day, he hasn't done anything since, right? I mean, he's won games, but hasn't gotten that deep playoff run. I know he made the second round and lost to the Bucks in 7, but after that, it's just been a struggle. So you just hope to see him end his career on a positive note, remind folks of how good he is. Because, man, if Kevin Durant gets a championship this season, we're going to look at him differently. Of course, there would be their haters, but we're going to see Kevin Durant in a different light. So we'll see how this all plays out. People don't expect him to even get to the finals, and that's understandable. The West is tough. However, I have to have expectations for Kevin Durant. Look, he's a generational player. He's a bucket getter. He's one of the best. You could say he's the best scorer you've ever seen in basketball. You can make that argument. The man is lethal. But in the playoffs, if things turn out to be the same, we can't ignore that. So I'm curious to see how this all plays out. And I'm excited for the Rockets. I love this roster. I like the blend of young guys and veteran leadership. And I love Ime Udoka as a coach. I think he'll get the best out of this team. And I'm very curious to see how he holds Kevin Durant accountable and how Durant's going to react to Ime Udoka and how he coaches him. Because, again, Udoka doesn't mess around. He gets the best out of you. He'll slam you if you're not doing things right. But that's good. You need that tough coach on your team. And if Kevin Durant responds correctly, this Rockets team could be very scary. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the NBA Finals, but we shall see. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Kevin Durant on the Houston Rockets and what should be the expectations. And if he doesn't have any deep playoff runs, does that hurt his legacy even more? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.